In this video we are going to discuss one more compound, that is aziridines, right? So the structure you should know. So the structure of aziridines is, it is a three-membered heterocyclic compound and it is also non-aromatic and it is saturated. See, nitrogen valence is 3, so I have satisfied 3 valency and lone pair you can show, right? So other hydrogens, it is left to you whether you want to show or not, it's left to you, right? So these aziridines are there, right? These are again called as like, see, aza cyclopropane, right? This is cyclopropane, simply one carbon I am going to replace by nh, right? So these are called aza cyclopropane are also, right? So these have many like they are used for anti-cancer, right? Anti-cancer, antibiotics like this, these are used. But the problem is they have got some drawbacks also. So what are the drawbacks? Let us see that. They are skin and eye irritant, first drawback. And second one is they sometimes it makes inside body inflammation, they do inflammation. So these are the few drawbacks of this uh, aziridines, right? So further, let us see some physical properties of these aziridines, right? I hope you got the structure, right? Here all are sp3 only, but if you see the chemical reaction, they do like sp2, because that angle, bond angle, that thing we have studied, right? In oxygens, that is epoxide, and also in thiones, there also we will study those things, right? So let us see few more things of this aziridines, physical properties. So what are the physical properties? It is colorless liquid, colorless liquid, first point. Second point, it has got smell of ammonia, right? These are simple physical properties, no need to and no need to remember, but just you understand. So 56 degrees Celsius is its boiling point, right? So these are the few physical properties, and also these are soluble, we call it as miscible in water, right? So that you can remember. So these are the physical properties, right? Then let us see few more things of this aziridines, right? So the aziridine structure, no, nitrogen is having H, right? So aziridine. So here it has got lone pair of electron, right? So but this is not that basic, right? Not more basic. If I compare, this is three-membered heterocyclic compound containing nitrogen as heteroatom. But here if I take this one, if I compare these two, this will be more basic. More basic. This will be see here, less basic. Let me write less basic. You may ask, why sir, why it is so? Because I have told it will be like more of sp2. If you see the chemical reaction and bond angle, you will observe that it is sp2. Here it will be sp3, right? So here s character will be more, around 33%, whereas here s character will be 25%. So greater the s character, they have ability to hold this lone pair, right? That thing you note it down. Greater the s character, they have ability to hold the electron, why? Because the greater the s character means it is very near to the nucleus. So in nucleus we have protons and neutrons. So protons are positive charge. So if electron, greater s character means these are nearer to nucleus, so electron attraction will be more, so they can hold these electrons more firmly, right? So these are less basic compared to four membered same nitrogen. If I compare, right, I'm not comparing other like oxygens or thiorenes, just I'm comparing between nitrogen, right? So these things you need to remember, right? So if you see the pK, right, so this is nitrogen and these are lone pair. For this pK is around 7.8 or 7.9, I can write 9.8 it is, means near to 8. So pK is near to 8. And also there is one relation you should know: greater the Ka, smaller will be the pKa, right? Greater the Ka, smaller will be the pKa. K, right? So greater the K means greater will be the acidity. These are the simple relations, that thing you should be able to remember, right? Greater the Ka, smaller will be the pKa, greater the acidity, right? So Ka pKa relation, simple it is, Ka and pKa, right? So what is the relation? See here, pKa is nothing but minus log of the concentration of Ka, not concentration, like this it is relation, right? Pk means power to that of Ka, right? So that is the simple relation. I hope I made it clear, everything, little basic. These are the few basic points of this aziridines, right? So before going further, let us see one more thing of this aziridine. So let us see this carbon-carbon bond length. It will be around 1.48, right? And this bond angle between H, C and H, this bond angle is the right theta, let me call it as, and it is around 118 degree. So it is near to 120 degree. So I told it will be near to sp2, right? So the reason for that only, right? And this bond angle will be 60 degree. Sorry, it's degree, not percentage, right? 60 degree, right? So this bond angle, if you want, just no need to remember, just what are the important things, that if you remember, it's enough. And this carbon nitrogen bond length is there, right? So it will be 1.41 Armstrong unit, right? So these are the few basics. And also, if you want to see the dipole moment, see here, nitrogen is a electronegative atom, right? So electron density will be more toward nitrogen, minus will be here, positive will be on carbon, like this the dipole moment will be, right? And the arrow I have showed. So the dipole moment, if you see, it will be between 2.09 to 2.40 d, right? This is the dipole moment of this aziridine, right? If you see the spectroscopic data, right? Let me write here spectroscopic data. So this is NH, right? If you see spectroscopy data, you can observe that this NH stretching is there, no, mu NH stretching, it will be around 3300 per centimeter. And this CH stretching, it will be around 2900 to 3000 per centimeter. It is mu CH, you have to write stretching. If you see bending of the same CH, right? So bending, if you see, it will be around 1450 to 1475 per centimeter, right? These things. And also, if you see HNMR data, right? HNMR data of this CH2, not NH. If you see CH2, it will be around 2.48 ppm. So it represents that carbon is sp3, right? HNMR data, if you 1H it is. And 13C NMR data, if you see, for this carbon 13, only for carbon, not for nitrogen, right? 13, because carbon we are seeing, it will be 36.01 ppm, right? So these are the few aspects of this aziridines, right? I hope I told everything about that, right? Further, if you want to move further, let us see few more things, right? So aziridines, right? So pyramidal inversion, you have studied that, right? In stereochemistry, other than carbon, we will study this pyramidal inversion. If not, I have done videos on that stereochemistry other than carbon, that you can watch there, right? So here let me give little basic information, right? So carbon to this four different atom, A, B, C instead of C, let me write E and D. So to this carbon, four different atoms are attached, then we call this carbon as chiral, this carbon, and we show it by star mark, right? Because this is chiral. Chiral means optically active. So this carbon will be chiral, or we can call it as optically active. So it will be optically active. It means it will be R or it will be S. So if it is R, it's mirror image. If I place a mirror, I'll get this kind of compound, A, D here, E here, and B here, and this will be S. Both are non-superimposable, right? And both are enantiomers, right? Since both are mirror image, both are optically active, and these are called enantiomers. These things you know, right? So in case of nitrogen also, see here, this is nitrogen, it has got lone pair. Here A is there, here B is there, here C is there, right? It means this is also different, this is also different, this is also different, this is also different. So you will call, so all are different, so it will be optically active. Nitrogen is chiral, optically active, right? So here nitrogen is chiral, you can call it as. Here we can use the name chiral or asymmetric, we call. Nitrogen is asymmetric, means symmetry is not there. If symmetry is not there, those are chiral, but it is wrong, right? Here I agree, nitrogen is attached to all four different atoms. Here lone pair is there, here A is there, here B is there, here C is there, no doubt. But problem is, what happens within this room temperature, it will exist like this. So here it will be pyramidal shape, right? Further what it will do, it becomes planar like this. All lone pairs comes in one plane and it will be A, B, C. So here plane of symmetry will be there, plane of symmetry. Further it will invert. How it will invert? Just n will be here like this, lone pairs comes below and A goes here, B goes here, C goes here. So the room temperature enough for this uh, energy barrier to cross, energy barrier. So what happens, from this pyramidal it has inverted to this pyramidal. So this is nothing but pyramidal inversion we call, right? During this inversion there will be a kind of transition state which will be planar. Because of this planar transition state there will be plane of symmetry. If I cut all the things, see here, A will be half, B will be half, nitrogen will be half, C will be half. That means here plane of symmetry exists. Whenever there is plane of symmetry, then the compound becomes optically inactive, right? So this is optically inactive. So then you may ask, sir, how to make that optically active? So what I will tell, A, B, C is there, right? Just to increase the steric hindrance here. If there is more steric hindrance, then barrier energy will be increased. Means if we place more bulky atoms, there will be increase in energy barrier. So there will be decrease in pyramidal inversion. Whenever there is decrease in pyramidal inversion, so pyramidal inversion won't take place. So we will get only this compound. Then it will be optically active. Because all atoms attached to nitrogen are different. One will be lone pair, one is A, right? One is lone pair, one is A, one is B, one is C. And also there is no inversion. So it will be optically active. But condition is these atoms should be very bulky, then only this kind of inversion won't takes place. There are few more conditions, like see here, in aziridines what is there, ring is there here like this. So because of the ring the energy barrier will be increased, because of which inversion won't takes place that easily. They have compared here, let me give you that analysis. Here they have taken this aziridine ring and here simple R dash and H, right? So energy barrier they have compared, just energy barrier for pyramidal inversion, same here, right? Here also energy barrier. Here they have observed that, see here, for this it is 71.13 kilojoule per mole, whereas for this it is 25.10 kilojoule per mole, right? So see here it is very less, this for this, whereas here because of this ring, the energy of barrier for this pyramidal inversion has been increased. That thing you need to remember. I hope I uh, explained everything, right? So if you want to remove that pyramidal inversion, take like this compound angstren here, please keep a bulkier group, then this will be uh, we can make no this pyramidal inversion, but then also it is optically active. Here no pyramidal inversion, but it is optically inactive. But no pyramidal inversion. Then you will ask, sir, here no pyramidal inversion, then how it can be optically inactive? It should be optically active, right? But the problem is, see here, it has got plane of symmetry. Whenever there is symmetry elements present, see here, if I place one tertiary butyl like this here, this is tertiary butyl, right? but it has got plane of symmetry. If with the red marker, if I show like this, it has got plane of symmetry. Whenever plane of symmetry is there, so this is plane of symmetry, it will be optically inactive. Then you will ask how to make this optically active. I will tell, just take the same thing, tertiary butyl is there, same thing, just you add here methyl group, right? Then there is no plane of symmetry, and it is because of this ring and this bulky group, we know that there is no pyramidal inversion, no pyramidal inversion, and also no plane of symmetry now. So the compound is optically active, right? So these are the few basics which I wanted to tell, right? Let me give one problem so that whether you can tell whether it is optically active or not. Let me check it, right? So this is nitrogen, here I have, so here whether it is optically active or inactive, it will be optically inactive because plane of symmetry is there. See, with the black I'm showing here, it has got plane of symmetry, right? You may not have, like, you can't tell whether it has going pyramidal inversion or not, right? If they have told you there is no pyramidal inversion, then you can see by adding this plane of symmetry, if it exists then it will be optically inactive, if not it will be optically active, right? Can you tell whether it is optically active or not? Let us assume that they have given like this, it is cis kind and no pyramidal inversion. Tell us whether it is optically active or not. It will be optically inactive. Why? Because since cis it is, so it exists plane of symmetry. If it was trans, then see like this it will be. Trans means one will be above, one methyl will be below. So there is no plane of symmetry. See here, if I place here, no plane of symmetry because one is above, one is below. If cis is there, cis means both methyl you can place above or below. Let me place below here. So one methyl below, here also one methyl below. If you place this plane of symmetry, there exist, right? Because of which it is optically inactive, right? I hope I explained it nicely. Next, let us see one more thing, right? So unsymmetrical aziridines are optically active. So what we learned, unsymmetrical aziridines are optically active. Case is there should not be pyramidal inversion, that is they should give that no pyramidal inversion. If pyramidal inversion takes place, then the unsymmetrical aziridines also becomes optically inactive, because at one point there will be transition state such that all will be in single plane, because of which there will be plane of symmetry. So they should give no pyramidal inversion, right? Then only unsymmetrical aziridines also becomes optically active. This point you need to remember, right? So let us see this. All these are asymmetrical. Chlorine is here, lone pair is here, and here methyl is there. And I will take one more example, right? Chlorine above, lone pair below, like this, methyl like this. Hydrogen you can put by yourself, right? So these are the few examples I am going to take. So here chlorine is there, here lone pair, and here methyl, and here nitrogen, methyl, right? And chlorine is below here, and lone pair like this, right? So all these with red marker I am showing. This is chiral carbon, this is also chiral carbon, this is chiral carbon, this is carbon carbon. For this you know how to do R and S. But here see nitrogen, it is also chiral because it is asymmetrical. One side chlorine is there, one side lone pairs are there, one side CH2 group is there, one side CH3 group is there, right? So all different, so it is chiral. Here also nitrogen is chiral, same case, nitrogen is chiral, nitrogen is chiral. For carbon you can do R and S, you know, right? For nitrogen let us see. So chlorine gets first preference, then this carbon, then this carbon. So it is like clockwise, so you need to put R. You know, lone pair will be like it will be least preferred, right? So whether this lone pair is below or above, it doesn't make any difference, right? So here 1 to chlorine, next to this carbon, and third comes to this, so it will be anti-clockwise, right? Anti-clockwise means it will be yes. And here also see, chlorine first preference, this carbon next, this carbon next, so it is R. Why I'm getting this carbon more preference than this carbon, I hope you are understanding, because its atomic mass will be more because of this methyl group, so we need to give preference to that, right? Further, last one. So here nitrogen is there, first chlorine gets, atomic number is more, next this carbon, next this carbon, right? So it will be anti-clockwise, right? So it will be yes, right? So here for nitrogen, whether lone pair are above or below, no question. If it comes clockwise, it is S. R, and it comes anti-clockwise, it will be yes. So this is the rule for this. We never consider whether that is above or below lone pairs, right? In next class, let us see some synthesis of these aziridines, right?